You don't need to waste your time. I've done all of the work for you. I read over 47 books on money, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what is actually going to make you rich. I've broken down everything I've learned into 6 core fundamental lessons. And ever since I started to apply these lessons in my business, the growth has been completely phenomenal. Reading books is a great way to learn new skills or to master certain topics. However, let's face it, it is very time consuming. The average 200-page book, it takes around 6.9 hours to read on average. There are millions of books on money and on personal finances. So if you wanted to read them all, you would have need at least thousands of lifetimes. Starting my own online business truly has changed my life for the better. And as you can see, I've successfully built a pretty interesting life for myself. With that said, the first thing that I want to share with you is that bad marketing is a lot more powerful than no marketing at all. The worst thing for a business is to be getting no attention at all. Because if you think about it, even if you're getting a lot of critics or it's creating some controversies, then at least a lot of people are going to be talking about you, about your company. This means you're going to get a lot of attention, and what's more, for free. And even though you would be getting all of those critics, well, thanks to them, your message will finally reach your target audience at some point. And to some extent, I completely agree with the statement that business is a numbers game. The more people you reach out to, the more prospects who see what you have to offer, the more sales your business will get. It's a guarantee. Now let me give you an example of what this actually looks like in practice. The website Rich Made Beautiful is a platform where individuals can connect with wealthy individuals who are looking for a date, and in exchange they will get paid. To advertise their platform, Rich Made Beautiful decided to create a scandal by targeting university students. I remember that at some point everyone was talking about them. You need to understand that in business, attention is gold, literally. I don't know if you've noticed, but these days everyone is always competing for your attention. For instance, YouTube, it's competing against TikTok, Instagram and Twitter to get your attention. And even within a social media platform, let's take the example of YouTube, millions of creators are competing for your attention. And if you see so many videos edited like literally movies, animated movies, it's because it hooks people. It keeps them watching for longer. Nowadays, the new currency, it's not US dollars or British pounds or euros or Canadian dollars or anything like that. Nowadays, the real currency in the business world, it is attention. Who controls the attention gets the money. To give you an example, having a personal brand, it is incredibly powerful. Why? Because it gives you 2 things, influence and the attention of people. And by now, I hope you would have understood that those 2 things are insanely valuable in business. Lesson number 2, your haters will make you rich. There's a funny quote that goes, if you haven't pissed off someone by noon, then you're probably not making any money. The truth is, I procrastinated starting the business that changed my life. I was so terrified of rejection that I put off starting my business for 7 months. All that time that was wasted, I could have just dived right in, and I would have gotten to where I am today so much faster. You need to understand that you need to stop wasting your time. You only have so much of it. If you're afraid of rejection, there's a few things that you need to understand. And when you do, you will become completely invincible because you will not care anymore about what other people think about you. You see, most people are afraid of striking up a conversation with a stranger. Do you know why? It's because people are thinking, oh my god, what are they going to think about me? And what if I look like an idiot? But as you can see, they're just worried about themselves and how the other person is going to perceive them. When in reality, the person that you want to talk to, they are too busy worrying about themselves, about how others are going to perceive them, how you are going to perceive them, and they're also too worried and too busy thinking about their own problems. So they're not judging you necessarily. And let's be honest, we all judge other people to some degree. Some do it more than others, but we all do it because we are human. That's how we function. So don't blame yourself for being human. And this sort of ties in with lesson number 1, because if you want to get more attention, well, naturally, you will also attract more and more haters as well. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So just like failure is inevitable in your journey to success, you will have haters, not only fanatics. So stop trying to please everyone because you will never be able to do that. I'm telling you, it's literally an impossible task. So do what you want to do and get on with your life. And whenever you feel bad because you receive some hate, remind yourself that it's actually a good sign. After all, if you haven't pissed off someone by noon, you're probably not making any money. Lesson number 3, sell before you build. You see, in any business, creating a product or coming up with a valuable service that people are willing to pay for, it is very difficult. And not only that, it's also very time consuming, which is why it's so easy to mess things up and to do the wrong thing if you're not careful and if you don't know exactly what your priorities are. What if you spend 6 months of your life building a product and then it turns out nobody wants it, nobody cares? I know that when you put a lot of effort into building something, especially a product if you're a business owner, you think that it's great, you think that people are going to love it. However, you need to hear the truth because none of that is going to matter if nobody wants to buy what you have to offer. If your market doesn't want it, it will not buy it. This is why you should sell your products or services before you actually build them. That way, you can make sure that what you have to offer is in high demand. And when this is confirmed, you can start providing your service or building your product. To give you an example, a clothing brand, they could release only one item of clothing and then ask people to pre-order it if they like it. And if the business receives a lot of pre pre-orders, then it definitely makes sense to order mass production because they have proof of concept. People want what they have to offer. Now imagine the opposite scenario for a second. What if instead of allowing people to pre-order the clothing, what if they manufactured 10,000 items? If no one is interested, then it would mean that they have wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars to manufacture the clothes and also months of their time. And now they're stuck with unwanted inventory. That's why with a consulting business, we remove as much of the risk as possible by selling our offer before we deliver on it, before we even build it. If you want to start your own online business and get to $10,000 a month or even above, I have recorded a free video that is going to analyze every popular business model so that you can figure out which one is the best to start. I'm also going to give you a 3-step process that you can follow to start getting clients today. The link is in the description if you are interested. Lesson number 4. You need to understand that investing in real estate or in the stock market, it's not actually going to make you rich. Online, you hear everyone and their mother speaking about the fact that you need multiple income streams to get rich. And while that's a great idea, oftentimes what they say is misleading. A lot of people try to make it look a lot easier than it actually is. If you wanted to invest in real estate, starting from the bottom, it is very difficult, almost impossible. Why? Because you would need to leverage somebody else's capital. And usually, most people would get a loan from the bank. But by doing this, you're actually taking a lot of risk. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're screwed. You could end up losing everything. And believe me, the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen it happen a lot more than you would think. Real estate is a very complex market, and it's also a full-time job. Not to mention that you would be competing against the top dogs that have billions of dollars to back their actions up. In my opinion, if your goal is to make millions of dollars or just to get to 10k per month, 20k per month, trying to do that with real estate or with the stock market, it's a surefire way to end up disappointed. Not to mention that you could actually reach the 10k per month mark a lot faster if you use the right opportunity. What rich people do is that they use real estate or the stock market to keep increasing their wealth, to grow it, and to secure their assets. Because if you have $10 million in your bank account, with inflation, each year that goes by, your money is losing value. However, if you invest in real estate or in the stock market, then inflation will actually make you richer. It's going to benefit you. Lesson number 5. Yeah, I know it sucks, but you've got to be patient. Did you know that the average Ferrari owner is actually 51 years old? And did you also know that the average millionaire is 57 years old? I know that with the popularity of the hustle/grinding culture, a lot of people seem to think that success, it's all about hard work. You hear people saying things like, I outwork everyone, or I get up at 4:30 a.m. just so I can get an edge on the competition, or rest days are for pussies. And at some point, I'm going to be honest with you, I got stuck in that mentality. I thought that if I worked harder, I would automatically make more money as a result. But then one day, I saw people who were far wealthier than me, and I just thought, it's impossible that those people, they're working 10 times or 100 times more than I am. They can't be working a million times harder. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, and the amount of energy that is available that we can use to, for instance, complete our projects, reach our goals, go work out, go work, that amount of energy, it fluctuates. I don't know about you, but usually around 2 p.m, I'm definitely not as sharp as I am at 8 a.m. And it's completely natural to experience a dip in alertness in early to mid-afternoon. That's what we call the afternoon slump, and pretty much everyone is going to experience it at some point. So at some point, I realized that hard work is not enough on its own, and that hard work alone would not make me rich, nor would it make anyone rich. Now don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't work hard, because in fact, if you want to reach your goal, chances are you will have to work twice as hard as you thought. But what I'm trying to say is that at some point, hard work, or working longer, working more hours, it is not going to help you to move forward. On the other hand, what is indeed going to help you to move forward is hiring, delegating, and implementing new strategies to not only work harder, but just work smarter. Because there's plenty of people from all over the world who work insanely hard. Think about your own parents if they come from a low-income family. Yet, it doesn't mean that they're going to end up making millions of dollars. So I really want to invite you to deprogram this idea from your mind that just by working hard, you will get rich, because it's not enough on its own. The truth is that some people ended up becoming far richer than you are, and they didn't work as hard. And this might piss you off at first, but then relax, take a breath, and realize that it's actually incredible news, because this means that you don't have to burn yourself out every day to get what you want. I know in movies we love the extraordinary. Why? Because oftentimes real life is boring. Just take a look at any fighting scene in movies. In the real world, people don't fight like that. And in movies, they often show us sleepless heroes, sleep-deprived heroes who can just accomplish anything. They work all night long and they still manage to find the answer. But in the real world, you need to work hard for sure, but you also need to rest and to take care of yourself. If you don't know when to stop yourself, life will stop you. And when it will, it is going to hurt really bad, believe me. If you really want to accomplish big things in life, you need to learn to know yourself. Knowing when to push, but also knowing when to stop. And the only way you get to that point is with experience and time. Lesson number 6. Your personal problems will always reflect back in your business. I've coached many business owners or aspiring business owners on a one-on-one setting, and the common trend I have noticed among most of them is that they completely believed that business tactics on their own would fix their business issues. They think that if their sales close are not closing, it's because they're not using the right script. But in reality, what they don't notice is that their energy is completely off because they show up to sales meetings sleep deprived, and then they speak to their prospects in a way that is not convincing at all, or they don't realize that what is hurting their sales is their lack of objectivity. And if you take a look at their personal life, they'll often be emotional, or they might be impulsive, and they just lack the ability to observe things from an objective point of view as much as possible. And if you think that this doesn't apply to you, or that this doesn't concern you, let me tell you that you are making a mistake. If you're completely hooked on instant gratification, and the first thing that you do when you wake up every morning is to go and scroll endlessly on social media, or if your sleep schedule is all out of whack, and your diet looks like the dream of a 12-year-old kid who wants to splurge on junk food, you've got some very big things to worry about. Truth is, for most of us, when we get started in the world of business, online business, we are our own employee. And by that, what I mean is that nobody else is working for us, meaning we have to do all of the work ourselves. So what do you honestly think is going to happen if you cannot sit at your desk for 45 minutes straight, up to an hour, and just do the boring work that you need to do? And if you can't focus, most of the time it's because you are too used to instant gratification. You need to realize that as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you are carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders. The success or failure of your business, it is resting on your shoulders and your shoulders alone. There will be no one else to blame if you don't get what you want. At the end of the day, you need to understand that the market is selfish and it doesn't care about what you want personally. It only cares that you provide something of value to it. And if you're all over the place, your mind and your life is a mess, good luck doing that. So when you see a problem appear in your business, first, I invite you to take a look at your personal life and wonder what could be causing that business problem. Now, if you would like to start your own online business, but you're not sure where to start, I have recorded a video in which I analyze every popular business model to figure out which one is the best to start for beginners. And this also applies to people with a few years of experience in business. The link is in the description below if you are interested. And with that said, as always, I'm waiting for you on the other side.